We have Natasha here from Ready to Love Miami season 7. I'm about to bring her on, guys. Make sure you give her a warm welcome.
Uh-oh.
Hey, lady, how are you? You're so beautiful. I told you, girl, you was like my whole 12 seconds.
I gotta hit her with the bomb drop.
How you doing, Natasha?
I'm well. How y'all doing?
Good.
I had to run and get my laptop because I thought about it and I was like, I know it's going to be on StreamYard, and StreamYard does not like phones. So thanks for waiting.
No worries. But I'm glad too, because now you're able to see the chats as well, huh?
Yes. Oh yeah, I can turn that on. I had it on the private chat. So
yeah, definitely.
I don't do well with that. So that is like, I'll give y'all kudos because I can't. Like all the interviews I've done, they'll say like, oh, in the comments, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I don't know what's going on in the comments. I can't do both.
Yeah, trying to moderate everything. I don't think people understand like it's so many different moving parts.
So many. And y'all I mean, he just hit the sounds. I would have been like, pick one. Comment sounds, or you want me to talk? Like one
we
of
all
them.
got different jobs, so.
Okay. That's, delegate.
How you feeling, Natasha?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to let Tyrone start, so welcome.
How you feeling?
I feel good. I'm here with one of my best friends, and I feel good. I mean, going in, like I knew that they weren't going to play everything. You know what I'm saying? And from the previews, I kind of felt like I could already see the editing. So I honestly was like, all right, let me see how this is going to go, because I know they're about to play me. And they didn't play everything that I would have wanted them to play. But I mean, at least they played like, I guess like the core of what I said. They didn't play the part where I was like, nobody didn't tell you that. And they cut that part out. And I definitely had a moment where I was like, all right, I told them ahead of time that I'm not coming there to assassinate nobody's character. But if I don't send for you, don't come for me, is what I said to the EP that talked to me before the reunion. And she said, yeah, I don't think that you're that type of person to do that. And like, blah, blah, blah. I said, but let me make it very clear, like, don't disturb me. And that's when the EP told me that it came out that that Tony and I were dating off camera. And my immediate response to her was, why? And she said, I don't know. And I just wanted to tell you so that you knew, like, weren't blindsided. And I said, at this point, it's giving grasping for straws. Like, I was on the show for 2.5 seconds. Like, why is my name coming up at any point? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. Like, leave me over there. And she basically, said, like, I don't know if it's going to be in the final edit. We just started editing, blah, blah, blah. So I came in thinking and feeling like I knew that it was going to come out that Tony and I were dating off camera. That's what I was told. And she told me that if anything else was, came about or whatever, and, that they were just in the final or the like preliminary parts of like editing it, she would give me a call and let me know. My negative energy was towards Tony and Tony only, because I thought that he was just looking for another moment and trying to stay relevant. And he just brought that out on his own. And since then, I found out that I guess production basically said, well, she's going to tell it. So, this is what's going to come out. And I was like, that's the oldest trick in the book. If you want to know something, tell somebody you already know it so that they can confirm it. And then you're really telling them. Like, come on. At this big age, we don't know that.
Right.
Did it ever come out how it originally was brought forth to the producers?
I really think that it was so they knew that he and I were dating off camera. And I think that they just kind of put two and two together. Maybe they knew that, I don't know. They must have put something together
Not to cut you off, but how did they know that you were dating off camera?
I don't know, because I had a conversation with the producers really close to when I left, and they already knew then. And I confirmed it. There was never a rule that I wasn't supposed to date someone after I left. I was encouraged by a couple of the producers after. Well, at least now you don't have to wait on, to be set up on a date and you can explore. And it was like, oh, that's true. Because the rule as it was presented to us was that you can't, like, don't date off camera because they didn't want the gaps in the storyline. And conversation Huh?
Why do you think you got sent home?
I'm not gonna say that because I haven't reviewed my contract again. But and I can't be the one to violate the contract. Like, I'm a lawyer. I do contracts. I handle breach of contracts. Like, I can't be that person. I just haven't had time yet to review it again. So I'm not going to say that yet. But I had a conversation with her and she, I was like, well, they said, now I don't have to wait. I can, if I have any connections. And she was like, well, did you like any of the guys? And I was like, well, not really. But there was one guy that I exchanged numbers with and I, would be interested in seeing that. And she was like, well, they probably could tell that you didn't really like anyone and blah, blah, blah. So, I had that conversation with her from then and was never told that and went forward with it. So I don't know what the MO was. If it was an MO, maybe somebody else really did go to the producers, but they cannot say, not one producer can say, Natasha told me blah, 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 blah. I still chose to not attack Tony for all the things that I could have said. And even if I did attack him at the reunion, because again, I thought that was him trying to look for his moment. I don't know what they're trying to get from this show or move from here, but I would have attacked him. And then I would have seen the episode and then I would have been like, oh, I got beef with Morgan? Oh, shucks. Okay. And then I would have had a conversation with Tony after the fact and been like, oh, wait, I got beef with the production too? Like, dang. Like, I just would have been moving on from beef to beef to beef. So I'm glad that I was just kind of like, okay, like, whatever. Nobody ain't tell you that. And let's not lose sight of what really is at issue here.
I want to ask you this. So after you got eliminated from the show, the producer still was like, you got a connection. You should still explore those connections. They told you to still explore them?
That was, yeah, but I was still on. It was at the mixer. Like, I don't know how it was for y'all, but afterwards, so basically after I got eliminated, you saw that part, and you probably even saw the part where Morgan herself hugged me and was like, beautiful, beautiful woman, like, so sorry you're going home, call me, like all that stuff. Whatever. And then I left, and then one of the EPs was like, oh, I need you to walk through here and like go out the door. So I was like, all right, I'm trying to be like a team player. I walk through the door, I come back, do that again, walk back, do like the walk of shame twice, walk out the front door, and then I get out there and I'm just like, now what?
Right.
And one of the other producers that I was cool with, he was out there and he was like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, you're not supposed to be out here. And I was like, can I leave? Can I go home? And he's like, what do you mean? No, like, why are you here? And I'm like, because I need to get my stuff and I need to go home. You don't have to wait on us to set you up on dates. And I was like, yippee. Like, okay. And then another producer came and said the same thing. So it was still at the mansion in the initial mixer. Like, it wasn't after the fact.
Wow.
So they
wanted to be messy.
Right.
Yes.
They wanted to be messy.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I fell for it. I mean, if that's the case, I fell for it. So
yeah, they was acting like the Secret Service with us. Like,
facts. Let me ask you this question: did you or did Tony ask Did you ask Tony to step away from the show, or did he tell you that he wanted to do that or no?
Absolutely not. So I might as well tell the whole story. So basically, after we exchanged numbers, so that whole threw her number at me or whatever, the first text message in my phone with Tony White is, please hold. The very, very, very first text message with him says, sorry, I have to scroll up a lot to get to the initial one. It says, Tony, this is Natasha. So how did I throw my phone number at him? And that was the first part that I was like, threw my phone number? Like, you chose those words. So, I didn't let him just do the fake accountability thing with me where it's like, oh, I own that, or this is why I did it. It's like, okay, but at the end of the day, like, you have some skin in this. You know what I'm saying? So we exchanged numbers, then texted him and said, Tony, this is Natasha. When I got to the car, my phone was dead, but I had missed call and text message. Then that's when the next time we talked, then he actually had a double date that day and told me about it, but didn't tell me who, and I didn't ask. And I basically said to him, like, hey, like, let's just, like, you finish the show out, if you don't find love and I'm still single when it's done, then we could see where it is. And he was like, oh, that's what you want? Like, that's what you want to do? And I said all of this at the reunion. All of this was said. So this is not a surprise to anyone that was there. I said this. And he said to me, like, oh, that's what you want to do? Da, 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 da. So I had my moment where it was like, okay, do I see this through? Or do I just say, like, no, like, you're going to stay on the show, da, 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 da. My focus at that time was that I'm not an ultimatum type of girl. Like, because I said, if the roles were reversed and I was on the show and you weren't, then I wouldn't want you to tell me what you want me to do. And he was like, oh, but I would. And I said, well, respectfully, I would still have to make my decision, which you have to do the same thing. So what is the difference with me telling you, I want you to stay, I want you to, like, you know, go or whatever, or leave the show, because you still gonna make the decision. So it's your decision. If you want to leave, leave. If you don't, then don't.
So what ultimately ended that relationship between you two?
Basically, when we filmed the intro that y'all see in the show, which was the same day that Morgan and Lyndon had their date. Okay. I found out about that, I don't know how many days before, we'll say about a week before. And when I found out about it, I was like, how is Tony going to maneuver this? Like, he's still on the show. There must be something that he has going on, whether he's being genuine or sincere about it. How is he going to maneuver? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is he going to maneuver that if I'm going to walk in and greet him the way that I normally would or something? That's what I seemed like. I thought that to be like the normal thing to do. But instead, he ghosted me. Like, he just like disappeared. And I went on social media because I was like, oh, he didn't like text. He didn't hit me back on this day. So the next day, because I had heard that he had like a drinking problem and was drinking and showing out. So I literally was like, all right, let me put my